Good morning, everybody. Let us take the title Sampling for today. Data originally collected for an investigation are known as primary data. Such data are original in character. The primary data may be collected by following either census method or the sampling method. Under the census method, data are collected from each and every unit of the universe. If one is interested in learning more about foreign cars in Tamil Nadu, the universe will comprise the total number of foreign cars. In sampling method, it is the process of learning about the population on the basis of sample. Sample is that part of the universe which is chosen for investigation. For example, a housewife tests a few grains of rice at the boiling point to find out whether the rice is fully cooked or not. Similarly, a teacher asks a few students some questions to test whether the students are well informed in the subject or not. The following advantages make sampling a desirable method of obtaining information. The first one is information is collected only from a portion of the population, and so it is less costlier to survey a sample of 200 people than to survey a population of 20,000 people. Second one, the data can be collected from the sample and it can be summarized more quickly. So the results are available quickly and hence decisions could be taken without much delay. Sampling gives scope for more accurate data. The researcher can concentrate more on the sample and make a thorough probing. The researcher otherwise cannot discharge his work when this level of diligence is to be maintained in dealing with a large population. The fourth one is it's possible for the researcher to collect more elaborate information from the few sample units than from the large population. Collection of data from all units lead to administrative problems and therefore in-depth study becomes difficult. Fifth advantage is when the universe is extremely large, it will be very difficult to study every unit of the universe. Hence, sampling is the only practical method for collecting the data. And the last advantage is that sampling is indispensable when the study results in spoiling the element sampled. For example, a car making company, a company making electric lamps cannot test every one of them. Otherwise, nothing will be left over to be sold. The sampling method is not, however, free from limitations. They are given below. Sampling is not feasible in any situation where precise knowledge about each unit of the population is needed. Second drawback is that the accuracy and reliability of the sample data is very much affected by sampling errors and data collection errors. And the third drawback, in a census survey, it may be easy to check the omissions of certain units for complete coverage, but this is not possible in the case of sample survey. There are two types of sampling, probability sampling and non-probability sampling. In probability sampling, each unit of the universe is, has a chance of being selected. In probability sampling design, the population must be clearly defined and the list of target population must be available. The more frequently used probability sampling methods are discussed here. The first one, Simple random sampling. In this sampling, each unit of the universe is known and has equal chance of being selected. The tools used for selection are lots and random numbers. For example, if you want to take a sample of 10 persons out of a population of 100 persons, the procedure is to write the names of all the 100 persons on separate slip of papers. Fold these slips, shuffle them thoroughly, and then make a blinded fold selection of 10 slips. In this way, the random sampling is selected. The second one is systematic sampling. This method is used when the complete list of population is available. The researcher first has to arrange the units in some order. Then he has to decide the number of samples to be taken out of the population. Then select the first item at random, and then every n by nth item from the sample will be included in this sample. Then is the stratified sampling. The universe is divided into strata on the basis of some measurable criteria such as age, income, education, and the like. Then a sample is selected from each strata. For example, a researcher wants to study the attitude of the employees of a company towards the fringe benefits. The workers' attitudes on the subject are closely tied to their age. Younger workers are less concerned about the fringe benefits than the older workers. In this case, a stratified sampling could be used. The workers can be classified into four groups. Say, workers less than 25 years of age, in the age group of 25 to 40, 41 to 55, and more than 55 years of age. Then the researcher has to decide the sample in each stratum. Next method is proportionate stratified sampling. The number of units in each stratum is proportionate to its number in the universe. Otherwise, the prior steps are just same as in the case of stratified sampling method. Next is cluster sampling. In this sampling, the various units comprising the population are grouped in clusters, and the sample selection is made in such a way that each cluster has an equal chance of being drawn. Suppose a survey is to be done in a large town which contains 20,000 households, and a sample of 200 households is to be selected. With a view to concentrate the sample in a few parts of the town, here the town is divided into 400 areas and 50 households in each. At random, 4 areas would be selected and the study would include all the households in the sample. Next method is area sampling. In this method, the area to be covered is divided into a number of smaller areas, of which a sample is selected by random. Within these areas, either a complete enumeration is carried out or a further subsample is taken. Next method is multi-phase sampling. Multi-phase sampling is a type of sample design in which some information is collected from the whole sample and additional information is collected either at the same time or later from subsample of the full sample. For example, in a survey of selected sample households, one can question them on all matters such as size, composition of the households, occupation of its heads, and income. Some information may be collected from only a small part of the entire sample. And the last one is a replicated sampling. In replicated sampling, several random subsamples are selected from the population instead of one full sample. All the subsamples have the same design and each one of them is a self-contained sample of the population. Under this method, the population is first divided into as many zones as there are sample units to be included in each subsample. For example, if we want to draw 5 subsamples of 10 employees, each from a total of 400 employees, each of the 5 subsamples will be formed either by reading out 10 random numbers, one from each zone, or by reading out one random number in the first zone only and then systematically selecting every 40th unit thereafter. In conclusion, the probability random sampling is more preferable because the researcher generates this data for the use of the entire population by using probability method to control bias during the sampling. And with this, I will conclude the methods of sampling, especially the random sampling methods. And I extend thanks to all those who patiently listening to this session. Thank you all.